Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give a little information. We will start at 10:05 or 16:05 for Indonesian time today. So we will start in 3 minutes.
Indonesia is one of the home of the largest rainforest in the world. We have today 64% of our territory still forested, while in Europe you have only 37% of Europe land is forested. We also home to the largest peatland in Southeast Asia. As a matter of fact, in Asia, we have 14.9 million hectares of peatland across Indonesia, and that 14.9 million hectares equals to 550 gigaton capacity of holding the carbon that is good for the environment. We also have about 3 million hectares of mangrove across Indonesia. So from the tropical rainforest, from the peatland, and as well as from the mangrove, it is very clear that Indonesia is one of the key players in sustainability in terms of forest management, in terms of peatland management, and also in terms of mangrove management. Now, in this Hackathon 2021, we hope that you can contribute to the sustainable development of Indonesian forestry, to the revolutionary, if you will, agriculture, which is of course sustainable, and revolutionary sustainable farming in Indonesia. You are using, for instance, hopefully your idea, your technology, so that management of forest, management of peatland, and management of mangrove in Indonesia will be even more sustainable. Be part of the Codegreen AI Hackathon 2021. And we want a great solution from you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon for those of you who are joining us from Indonesia. And welcome to the kick-off session of Codegreen AI Hackathon 2021 by Earthlink Indonesia FAO, supported by the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Berlin and powered by TechBros GmbH. My name is Aulia Sultoni, and I am the co-founder and the co-chairwoman of Earthlink Indonesia FAO, and it is a great pleasure for me to welcome everyone to our amazing event today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who are joining us today, and let me also acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Arif Hafaz Agrosono, Mr. Felix Beer, Professor Arimawan, Amalia Siti Khaira, Fanny Udris, and to everyone else who has supported us in making this hackathon possible. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and we appreciate you taking your time off your busy schedule to join us today. And also a very warm welcome to our community partners, Gajah Kebersihan, Biakta Energy, Tandur Bumi, Graswald, My Center, and Impact Hub Jakarta. Dear audience, before we really get started, I'd like to get with you through our today's agenda. Today, we will be hearing opening remarks from our distinguished guest from the Embassy of the Republic Indonesia to the Federal Republic of Germany, from Earthlink Indonesia FAO, Greifswald My Center, and TechBros GmbH. And we will also be hearing the finalist announcement, which will also be followed by 2 keynote speeches from, as I mentioned before, Greifswald My Center and TechBros GmbH. And before we close our kickoff meeting today, we will also do official countdown so that all the participants could start developing their cases. We are also very welcome if you like to engage with us via social media with the hashtag Codegreen Hackathon 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this year's Hackathon Codegreen 2021 is Computer Vision for Sustainable Forestry, Farming, and Agriculture in Indonesia, with focus on biodiversity maintenance, live environment analysis, workers' well-being, conservation, and carbon reserve assessment, and precision agriculture. And we also think that it is a very pressing topic given the potential that Indonesia has and the urgency of the growing population of the world. And ladies and gentlemen, this event could not have been pulled off without the tremendous efforts and hard work of Earthling Indonesia FL. And for that, we will hear an opening speech from the co-founder and the head of public affairs of Earthling Indonesia FL, Ms. Fanny Yudris. Dear Ms. Fanny, we are very happy to have you here, and I would say the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Aulia. With this, I would like to welcome you all to the official start of Codegreen AI Hackathon 2021, organized by Earthling Indonesia, powered by TechPros GmbH, and also supported by the Embassy of Republic Indonesia in Berlin. My name is Fanny Marcela Maharani Yudris, and I am one of the co-founder of Earthling Indonesia and also the chairwoman of this event committee. Before we start, I would like to extend my special thanks to Your Excellency Mr. Arif Hafaz Ogroseno, Ambassador for Republic Indonesia for Federal Republic of Germany, and Mr. Yudi Rahardian, the CEO of TechPros GmbH, who have supported us and give us guidance during the event preparation. Since only with your help, we are able to make this event possible. I would also like to welcome and thank you, Mr. Felix Beer, as a representative from the Greifswald Meer Centrum, who has joined us today to share his knowledge and insights in international collaboration in climate change. Not to be forgotten, I also thank all of our sponsors, partners, and media partners for their support and patronage. Last but not least, I thank all of the participants who have submitted their innovative ideas and take part in this competition. Finally, I would like to applaud this event committee for their dedication and solid teamwork during their event preparation. Earthling Indonesia is a registered non-profit organization in Germany and one of actors of Education for Sustainable Development, or Bildung für nachhaltige Entwicklung Akteur of UNESCO Germany. Our organization is supported by young Indonesians worldwide who aim to foster sustainable development in Indonesia through education and to bridge cooperation between stakeholders in Indonesia and in Europe. And through the Codegreen AI Hackathon 2021, we want to make solid impact. This competition is organized by Earthling Indonesia in collaboration with TechPros GmbH and support of Embassy of Republic Indonesia in Germany, who all agree that to achieve sustainable future, time is of the essence. Environmental degradation, resource scarcity, and climate change can pose a threat to our way of life, and their mitigations allows no further delay. Therefore, we need to pick up our speed. But let us treat these threats as an opportunity for sustainable technologies, creative solutions, and social innovation to thrive. In order to succeed in the transformation towards true sustainability, we need to invoke the spirit of innovation that covers many areas and, of course, is technology open. Our theme this year is computer vision for forestry and agriculture in Indonesia, with focus point in biodiversity maintenance, life environment analysis, conservation and carbon reserve assessment, precision agriculture, and also workers' well-being. We hope through the Codegreen AI Hackathon, Indonesian citizens, Indonesia diaspora, and also Indonesian nationals in Europe will have the opportunity to innovate and to create the next breakthrough in forestry and also in agriculture. I hope you all enjoyed the event truly and wish you success and good luck in this competition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fanny, and thank you for your opening remark. I can only agree with you. This is probably the time for our younger generation to compete together, to collaborate together, to generate ideas for a better Indonesia. So once again, thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to our next agenda for today, I'd like to see some faces So if it's possible for you guys to turn on your camera, please do it so we can be more, we can connect more with each other. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker for today is Mr. Yudi Rahadian as the CEO of TechBros GmbH. Unfortunately, he cannot make it today, but he has already sent us a very warm video. So to Mr. Yudi Rahadian, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I would like to mention the Honorable Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Dr. Hafaz Obroseno, the Honorable Mr. Felix Beer from Greifswald Marriott Center, the Honorable Ms. Fani Yudris from Atling, and also Atling friends who already support us from TechBros to make this hackathon from the very beginning. The Honorable ladies and gentlemen who join us today and also who has participated in this hackathon events. Artificial intelligence now become already pop culture because the components in it have become identity where everything can be automated and can also use technology that can be used in all areas of life. In fact, there are some rumors that say that AI can replace human work and even can also make humans lose their source of work. However, is that really the case nowadays? Meantime, AI is the one who that human made. When we are talking about AI, we are not talking about the technical things and also something regarding the IT and also some electronics component, but it's also about the non-technical things. Many things in everyday life that can be said to have used AI, such as Google Maps, Siri, Alexa, Amazon, and many others. From there, we assume that AI does not replace us, but only help us to make things easier and get things that are useful for us. When we, from TechBros, had an idea to make the AI technology, we didn't think too much about what our AI product will be like, but we thought more about what the benefits will be to mankind for, especially in everyday life. Therefore, we made products that could be used not only for one use case only, but also for all the use case can be adopted into an everyday life using AI technology. This is a breakthrough from us because when we have an innovation product, the innovation must be that can be reused. So that's why we try to convince our teams and also our partner that this AI product we develop can be beneficial not only for something so-called smart city, but also we can use it for the rural communities. Not to mention again farming, agriculture, and also forestry. Here, an ecosystem will be created that will collaborate with experts in the field of technology and also the expert in terms of agriculture, farming, and also forestry. It's time for us to sit together, talk each other, and discuss what will be the idea for the realization of sustainability goals using AI technology. Therefore, I'm very grateful for the participate of all of you as a participant in this hackathon program, because this will be something complete where technology can be implemented in its entirety from cities to village and from forest to city. I wish you best of luck and hopefully this hackathon will be a bridge for all of us to take part in the work of AI sustainability. Thank you very much for your attention. Happy competition and stay healthy always. Thank you. I return the forum to the moderator.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yudi Rahadian, as the CEO of the TechBros GmbH. And dear ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to our next opening remark from the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Federal Republic of Germany, His Excellency, Mr. Arif Hafaz Sugrosono. I'd be very happy to give you the floor and we're looking forward to your speech.
Halo, selamat pagi. Good morning. Morning, Aulia, Anin, Brian, Amalia, and also Anastasia, and as well as our colleague from Greifswald, Felix. How are you? How cool it is in Greifswald now.
It's freezing. Yeah. Hello.
Okay, so let me first of all, and also Fanny, a very good morning to you. So let me first of all congratulate the initiative to have this hackathon once again done this year. I think it's a very good initiative, and especially looking at today, where we are still in the mood of the Glasgow climate change conference. I want to share with you, which probably can give you an idea or inspirations for the hackathon itself, or probably after hackathon. I was in Glasgow from the 1st of November to the 5th of November. I was invited by Minister of Environment of Indonesia to do a couple of things. Number one, I was invited to speak about the carbon market. I think it's a very interesting development. We have just signed, our president just signed the presidential decree on the value of carbon. So basically, now we have a legal basis in Indonesia to create a carbon market, like in European Union or like in Germany. So the how it works, it's similar to what you have here in Germany, for instance. Each sectors, for instance, sectors of aviations, sectors of industry, they have a limit of emission. Okay, and if one company has the emission above the limit, then that company should buy or offset its emission with carbon credit. And it was started, I think, about 10-15 years ago in European Union. And initially the price of carbon per ton was 5-6 euros, and last week it was 60 euros per ton. Okay, so it's big development in terms of pricing. So in Europe, you have the mandatory market, means that the companies are mandated to buy the offset, and you have voluntary market where you don't have to buy, but many companies actually buy. So what Indonesia will have is a carbon market like one in Europe. So hopefully in the future, if we have, for instance, one sector that you are working now, agriculture and forestry, for instance, say if the agriculture sectors has the limit of the emission, and that particular company, for instance, has the emissions goes above the allowable emission, then he has to buy credit. Okay, and the market will be established. They can buy credit from people in the villages who are now having what we call the social forestry. So for instance, people in certain forest area in different parts of Indonesia, now they are part of the social forestry program. So they can use the forest, not by cutting the forest, not by cutting the wood, but they can use the forest for tourism, for also for carbon market. So this is a new development. It just came very recent. The decree was signed in the airplane when the president was on the way to a G20 meeting that would be on the 30th of October. So this is very brand new development. And also we have a lot of peatlands. When I was in Glasgow, I met with Francisca from Greifswaldmoor. I met with Professor Han Houston from Greifswaldmoor. And we also bring the officials from the Badan Restorasi Gambut dan Mangrove Indonesia, BRG, Professor Satya and Professor Mirna. So they have already discussed about possible cooperations with GMC, and maybe at some point, Pa Felix, we will have delegation from Indonesia coming to Greifswald and have a discussions on many different issues on how we can work together, Indonesia and Germany, on the mangrove issue. So it will be great. And I also know that GMC has also produced some studies on how you calculate the emission saving and carbon sequestration by mangrove, by peatland. So this is something that we also want to learn. So this could also become an idea for this initiative, that in the future you could also see how this can fits with the idea of how the younger generations can be part of this. For instance, because you are all here, Fanny, Anin, and Olia, you are here in Germany, maybe you can establish some network with German institutions who probably in the future is willing to buy voluntary market carbon from Indonesia. So this is, I think, a very important development in terms of sustainable development in Indonesia. I was also invited to accompany the Vice Minister of Environment, that our president awarded Professor Goldemeyer from Freiburg University accommodations for his work with Indonesia for the last 30 years in the forest fire issue. So again, this was a very important moment between Indonesia and Germany in terms of sustainable development. I was also invited to moderate actually on the launching of the World Mangrove Center in Indonesia. So we will revitalize 600,000 mangrove that are deforested. So Germany will work with Indonesia in establishing what we call the World Mangrove Center. So this is again a very important development that is relevant, for this event. I believe when I was in Glasgow, also I listened to the young generation who had demonstrations. Especially the one that was basically running on the streets. There was a lot of protests, and it's very unfortunate that the voice of the younger generation was pessimistic. They are saying that the Glasgow conference is blah blah blah, it's not doing anything. But I think it is important for younger generation to maintain hope. Climate change is not policy is not very easy. It's not as easy as you flip your hand. I'll give you an example. For instance, what I think, in my personal opinion, is facing Europe today, especially in Germany. Germany has decarbonized the economy. There is no coal anymore, or maybe very few. You are dependent on the renewables, but you're also dependent on the gas from Russia. So then the question is not becoming sustainability issue, it's becoming geopolitics. What if at some point in January there is no wind, and of course there is no sun? And what if the Russian turn off the gas? So this has become a geopolitical issue. I see Felix is smiling. So what if President Putin just turn it off? The man can do it. He wants to do it. And what's going to happen if the price of the energy goes up? For you who pay by yourself, you will feel it. But for the younger generation who actually don't pay the bill, they don't actually feel it. So it's not very easy, and then in France, they say that, well, renewable is better with nuclear. But if you ask the French people to change nuclear to something else, they will say no, because 70% of the energy is coming from nuclear, and they're not going to change anytime soon. Probably they will never change. So again, this is type of discussions. We were forced to close down the coal, but at the same time, this week there is an expansion of oil and gas exploration by Norway and by Scotland. So decarbonization is only for the coal, but oil and gas, hang on a second. Oil and gas is something else, guys. You can turn off your coal, but not my oil and gas. So this is a lot of, very, very difficult issue. But I believe we must maintain optimism and hope. And I believe this event today is basically represent of that you're not being pessimistic. You are looking at this possibility that you can work. And I believe this is a very strong and important message, for everybody. So once again, congratulations, and also congratulations later on for the winner. And thanks once again for all of you girls. And thanks again for Pa Felix Bier from GMC, who is also representing GMC, which I believe it's an organization that has a very strong collaboration link with Indonesia. I don't know, Pa Felix, maybe I'm the only ambassador who goes to GMC on a regular basis. And I want to keep it that way. And I want to maintain that relations with GMC as always. So once again, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Arif Hafasigarsono, and thank you for your inspiring insights. I could hear that there will be a lot of collaborations between Germany and Indonesia, where us, the young generation, should not only hope for the best, but also try to contribute in the sustainable development in Indonesia. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Arif Hafasigarsono. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to our next agenda for today. But before that, I'd like to see some more faces here, because we are going to announce the finalists, and I like to see the excitement on your face. So please feel free to turn on your camera if it's possible. And also, if you'd like to engage with us via social media, you can also use the hashtag Codegreen 2021. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm sorry for that, but without further ado, let's go to our next agenda, which is the finalist announcement. And it will be announced by the Education and Culture Attaché of the Embassy of Indonesia in Berlin. He is the Professor Adi Mawan, and here are the finalists of Hackathon 2021 competition.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ardi Marwan. I'm the current Education and Culture Attaché of the Indonesian Embassy here in Germany. I would like to extend my congratulations to the 7 finalists of Codegreen Hackathon 2021. Finalist number 1, Caping AI. Finalist number 2, Otan Spotter. Number 3, Resist. Finalist number 4, Plan Match. Number 5, Flying Farmer 7, cucumber sorting, and last but not least, number 7, Robusta. I wish you all good luck and success during the hackathon. May all these ideas develop into products that support the environmentally and socially sustainable development of forestry and agriculture in Indonesia. Once again, congratulations to all the finalists. Good luck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the announcement for the finalists of this year's Codegreen Hackathon 2021. I would say congratulations for all the finalists who have made this far, and also thank you for the other participants. You did great jobs too, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now switching to our next speaker. He is a junior researcher at the Greifswald Meyer Center, and he's going to talk about international collaboration in climate science between Europe and Indonesia. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Felix Beer, and looking forward to hear from your speech.
Yeah, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you.
Great. So dear event committee, dear Aulia, Fanny and Letitia and others, thank you for inviting me and first of all, Hans Josten from the Greifswald Meyer Center. Dear Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia in Germany, Arifa Havas Groseno. It's a pity that we couldn't meet yet in Greifswald, but when you were here the last time, seeing what we are doing, I was absent. It's also a pity because I used to work in Indonesia, in North Kalimantan, actually, on the project with GIZ. But also, dear jury and supporting institutions, I'm very pleased to give the keynote speech today on behalf of Professor Hans Josten. Unfortunately, he is not able himself to talk to you due to the aftermath of the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow. He was there very busy doing what he really loves, promoting the protection and climate smart use of peatlands, the Earth's carbon richest ecosystems on this globe. I talked to him yesterday and he sends you all the dearest greetings, in particular also to His Excellency the Ambassador, who is a friend, as you heard already, and as you know, and strong supporter of the international exchange and cooperation for a sustainable and climate-friendly management of ecosystems and the strengthening of, first of all, Indonesia, his country, but also to the strengthening of all of us, Europe and Indonesia and this Earth. So Professor Hans Josten wishes you, the participants, but also the organizers and supportings of this event, a fascinating, creative, and successful Hackathon 21. It is no secret anymore, this world is facing major problems. The world is in severe crisis, and it is a multi-layered crisis that affects all parts of the biosphere, plants, animals, whole ecosystems, and of course, us humans. Scientists emphasize often two crises, actually, the climate crisis and the biodiversity crisis. And their phases are like a kaleidoscope, right? More and more coastal areas are in risk of being constantly flooded. Also in Indonesia, actually, forcing millions of people to leave the places where they lived for centuries. We see century-old forests and millennia-old peatlands burning in a frequency and intensity that was never seen before. And we see weather events in extremes we didn't know up to date. Torrential rains, even stronger thunderstorms and cyclones lead to devastating floodings, killing hundreds, if not thousands of people every year. And on the other hand, the lack of rainfall results in droughts that have the potential to threaten global food production, for example. Temperatures are rising everywhere, you know it, making life in big cities more and more unbearable. Glaciers and the Arctic permafrost are melting, deserts are in advance, and the wildlife is disappearing more and more. I could actually continue for some more while listing up all the problems that we have on this planet, and which you know about too well as well. So those are all problems which have been caused by the unsustainable human exploitation of natural resources and by the appropriation of the land and oceans without knowing for a long time the consequences of it. And I have to say at this point, I don't come around it, that the major share and thus the major responsibility of this misery is on the industrialized Western and also rich societies, in my view. For example, when only talking about climate change and historic greenhouse gas emissions, we can say that the European Union is a good second after the United States, being responsible for 1/4 of all greenhouse gas emissions that has been emitted since 1850. Indonesia, on the other way, just to mention it, is only responsible for 1% of the global greenhouse gas emissions historically, according to the World Resource Institute. So the global crisis we are facing is also a crisis of the way Western societies work, and it is a crisis of the global economy and its heavy exploitation of all available natural resources. I say it from a perspective of a scientist, right? And therefore, one thing is very clear. Those problems occur everywhere around the globe. The challenges we are facing don't know borders. They don't care about political or economic competition. No country and no region is and will be spared of major changes if we as humankind won't manage to find solutions to all the above-mentioned problems. Everyone has to assume its responsibility. And I believe that many of us do already in their own lives, like you do with your ideas and commitments on the field of artificial intelligence for a better land monitoring and management, for example. Our only home that we have, we call it Earth, we would become a very unpleasant place to live otherwise. But good news comes also from the highest level of politics, and the ambassador already mentioned it. The world community is sitting together in Glasgow, even in this very minute where we speak here, to bring the fight against climate change on the right track. And yes, the process is very slow, it's very complicated, and I believe there needs to be a lot more done. But no, and I agree with the ambassador as well, it is not too late to save our planet. There's still hope. And that's also why I'm very glad that we sit together here, that this event is organized, because there is hope, and we need those new ideas and efforts actually to improve. And never before in time also did we understood better how the Earth system is working. If you only imagine the interplay of atmosphere, oceans, land, and biosphere. Scientists and experts on all continents are measuring every day the processes that drive life on Earth. We do it with microscopes to satellites. Scientists collaborate across continents to find answers to the pressing questions of our times. We support each other, we inspire each other, and learn from each other by fruitful dialogues, discussions on the same eye level. And I want to share with you an example from my field of expertise, which concerns Indonesia and Germany. I work on peatlands. Peatlands are the carbon richest ecosystems on land, and you have a lot of them in Germany as well as in Indonesia. Both countries share the same problem, that those ecosystems are heavily degraded. In Germany, even more than in Indonesia. Here, 95% of all peatlands are degraded, which makes them important sources of greenhouse gases. And in Germany, Professor Hans Josten and his team developed an approach, for example, to restore those ecosystems and to use them in a climate-friendly way. The ambassador knows it already. He has seen it, right? Paludiculture, we call it here. And then in Indonesia, this approach was adapted to the particular Indonesian circumstances and implemented. Now Indonesia is restoring successfully on a very large scale those ecosystems. We talk about 2 million hectares, which is huge, and is in turn an inspiring example for Germany and other European countries. Indonesia is doing more in this field than the whole European Union together. So you see, without the international and mutual exchange on all levels, peatlands in Indonesia might still burn regularly, and affect millions of people. And Germany might not feel so motivated to follow the Indonesian example and rewet its own peatlands. We all as experts in our field need support and the institutional frames to do our work properly. Agreements between our governments, for example, for scientific exchange, but also financial and business sector support. So let's bring more students, for example, young and old experts to the other countries to learn from each other and to learn the other ways thinking and doing. I was asked to talk about the international collaboration in climate science, mainly between Europe and Indonesia today. And I think this is one important key message. A collaboration between partners can only be successful if it is based on a respectful exchange into both directions, right? And all collaborations needs money. Every activity in the field, every pilot project to showcase technologies and also the organizations that work on the ground, they need money to run. And all successful collaborations depend also on the inclusion of all stakeholders that are concerned. It's not helpful if we only talk as scientists or if only politicians talk, but we need to involve also farmers, conservationists, local communities, and government administration and other stakeholders, for example. So another important point is that experts, as we are all, and our knowledge alone is not enough or is nothing if there were not people to translate the facts into policies and implementation on the ground. A lot of cooperations indeed are happening between Europe and Indonesia, and also Germany and Indonesia, often also funded. But I saw during my experience that most of the important work in Indonesia, for example, is done by the people in the field, by Indonesians, by your people. And I myself was very happy when I could contribute with my knowledge as a peatland and remote sensing expert to this project in North Kalimantan. But I was equally amazed to learn how and what people in the Kayan Zembakung area are doing and what they are doing. And I would like to see as also young Indonesian experts to come to Germany and Europe, look at our challenges and hear their perspectives and solutions to our problems. And third, to come slowly to a conclusion, we need new ideas constantly to find better solutions to our problems. I myself am a remote sensing expert. I dive also into the world of artificial intelligence for analyzing data and monitoring wetlands and peatlands. Huge amount of data is collected every day around the globe. For using the data best, artificial intelligence plays a significant role. And that's why we're here today. And I'm very great being at the opening of the Codegreen Hackathon 2021. What would be the tons of data worth if we were not able to structure and understand them? So with your ideas and your creativity, I'm sure of that, you will contribute to a more sustainable future, development in Indonesia, but also in Europe, by supporting the management of agriculture and forestry with the help of smart data analysis. During the next 3 weeks, as far as I understood, right? You will exchange, collaborate, and compete. I'm very curious to see the outcomes of your project ideas and how they could shape a better land use in Indonesia and Europe for a better future. I want to thank the organizers for setting this up, this important event, and bringing together the people from Indonesia and from Europe. And I'm glad being here and wish you all a good Hackathon 2021. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Felix Beer, and thank you for your insights. And also, I could hear from you that there has to be a collaboration between the Europe and the Indonesia, and there has to be exchange from both sides so that we can build a more sustainable development in the sense of the scientific climate issues. And as I mentioned earlier today, this event could not have been made possible without the tremendous efforts of Earthling Indonesia and other stakeholders, such as the Embassy of Indonesia in Germany, and also the Techbros GmbH, which is a private sector, and all partners, all other partners that come from the local communities, and also the research groups. So we really hope that after also hearing your speech, Mr. Felix Beer, we really hope that through this competition, we can also manage the stakeholders and also collaborate more for more sustainable development in Indonesia and also in Europe. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Felix Beer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to mention a bit, give an announcement for the participants for the mentoring week. For the first mentoring week, it would be about the product and product management for IT products in the field of sustainability. And there will also be a technical support for using the Elang AI. And the second mentoring week would be about the patent law and increased registration patent application in Indonesia. Also, we will be talking about how to grow an IT-based startup in Indonesia. And the third mentoring week would be about the pitching techniques, because it would be useful for all the participants to pitch their amazing ideas on the final day. And as mentioned earlier, there will be more technical support for using the Elang AI in this competition. And talking about Elang AI for today, we are now switching to our next speaker. He is going to give us a brief introduction to Elang AI by Techbros GmbH. So for Mr. Okta Fajar Suryani, I'd like to give the floor to you and looking forward to your keynote speech.
Okay, thank you very much. And yeah, hello all, nice to meet you. As mentioned by moderator before, yeah, my name is Okta Fajar Suryani, and I am a representative person from Techbros developer team, and currently I am in Indonesia. And today, yeah, I will talk about overview, high-level overview of Elang AI. What is Elang AI, and how you can use Elang AI in your use cases, and yeah, what the benefit that you can get by using Elang AI. Okay, for today's, let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, guys, can you see my screen or my PowerPoint? Hello?
Yes, Okta.
Okay. Okay, let me start my presentation. Yeah, in Techbros, we are currently developing AI platform. We call it Elang AI, and our tagline is deploy AI use cases as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, basically using only 4 steps, you can deploy your AI solution for your own use case using Elang AI. Okay, and this is about the what are the motivation behind Elang AI development. So here there are some common issue for you if you want to deploy your AI solution. For example, you have a problem, and you want to build AI solution to solve your problem, but you don't have any knowledge about AI at all. So how can you deploy your AI solution? And then the second issue may be you are currently an AI engineer or developer, but to deploy all pipeline machine learning or AI, you need to manage all the infrastructure or pipeline from scratch, and you don't do that by yourself. So you are looking what's the end-to-end platform that accommodate your need, and maybe for your use cases, you have to deploy your AI application into the edge devices. And then the last issue, for example, like this one, you working for the maybe a startup or a company, and your boss is ask you to deploy the AI solution for your company uh, in the next days or maybe next week. So how can you deploy your AI solution as fast as possible? And yeah, this is actually this issue are what many machine learning engineer or AI engineer mostly concerned about. And this is what motivate us in Tigros to develop Alam AI. And maybe you can use our platform, our AI platform, to deploy your use case during this hackathon event. Okay, and here there's data from McKinsey and Company. It's said about the common barriers that company or industries face if they want to deploy or adapt the AI solution into their organization. But I will only highlight the most two common barriers. The first one is lack of clear strategy for AI, and then the second barriers is lack of talent with appropriate skill set for AI work. So for the first barrier, it is because for the traditional companies or industries, maybe they do not have any prior knowledge about what is AI and what the benefit of AI for their company or their businesses. And then the second, lack of talent with appropriate skill. Basically, the demand of AI talent is very huge, but the availability of the AI talent itself is very rare. So yeah, or maybe the company or industries already have AI talent in their organization, but like I mentioned before, they do not have skill to deploy the AI solution into the production line or other. Yeah, from here, it is very clear that if we can provide AI platform that can minimize or vanishing this barrier, it can be very beneficial and useful for company and businesses. Yeah, this is the common problem and motivation behind Alam AI. And then I want to talk about what are the components of Alam AI. In the Alam AI itself, there are four main components. The first one is Alam Store, Alam AI interface, Alam AI analytic dashboard, and also we provide Alam AI SDK for developer. Okay, let me explain each component one by one. So start from Alang Store. Basically, Alang Store, we design Alang Store is more like App Store in iOS or maybe Play Store in Android. So it is we hope it is a win-win solution for non-developer user and also for developer user. Using Alang Store, developer user can upload and monetize their AI application. So non-developer or common user can use their AI application for their own use case or problem. And then this is the Alang AI interface. basically we create this interface to accommodate non-developer user because they do not have any prior knowledge about AI, so they can still deploy their AI application just by open this Alang AI interface, and then they can download the available AI application from Alang Store, and then right in this interface, they can also run selected AI application for their use cases. And then the third component is Alang AI Analytic Dashboard. Here we are providing the built-in dashboard to accommodate non-developer and also developer need, so they can get the insight from their data faster by looking into nice dashboard and nice report. And Alang AI also provide data endpoint API, so developer can customize their own dashboard. For example, if you develop, for example, face mask detection, like in this slide, and then you want to create your custom dashboard, you can use the endpoint data API available in Alang AI, and then you can consume the inference data result from the API, and then you can use the data to your custom dashboard. Okay, and then the last component is Alang AI SDK. Basically, here there are some features in Alang AI SDK. The first one is model converter. You can convert the model maybe from PyTorch, TensorFlow, or other deep learning framework, convert it into the format that Alang AI accepted. And then, like I mentioned in the slide before, in the customized analytic dashboard, there is a data endpoint API. We provide endpoint API data, so you can consume the inference result from this API and show the data into your custom dashboard. And then optimize inference engine. Here, if you want to build or deploy your use case into edge devices or maybe embedded devices, actually there are main problem. So in my experience, if you want to deploy AI in edge devices, the main problem is performance degradation. So here we using Alang AI SDK, you can optimize your model, and then if you run it or deploy it into edge devices, you can still get the maximum performance. And then there is also model inspector. You can inspect what the input and output of your model, and then using the custom callback. So if you are a developer and you want to customize your pipeline for your AI application, you can do that using the custom callback API available in Alang AI SDK. And then if you want to, of course, if you want to create AI application, you need a project template, right? So using Alang AI, we also provide tools to generate AI app template for your use case. Okay, and this is the flow. How can you use AI? If you developer, you can create AI application using Alang AI SDK, and then after this you have two options. The first is you can upload your AI application into Alang Store, and then you can monetize it, so other user can use your AI application or your solution. Or you don't want upload your model to Alang Store, you just need to run your AI application directly into your devices. yeah, you can do that in Elang AI. And then if you run your model into edge devices, we provide data endpoint, and from data endpoint, and from this data endpoint, you can consume the data inference result and visualize the data into your customized analytic dashboard or our built-in analytic dashboard. Okay, that's for a developer, and for non-developer user who do not have any prior knowledge about AI, it is not possible if we ask them to create their own AI application, right? Because they don't have any knowledge. So how can Elang AI accommodate the non-developer need? So yeah, we have Elang Store. User, non-developer user can download available model, ready to use model in Elang Store, and then they can run using Elang AI interface into their devices. And yeah, the process same as developer in previous slide. Yeah, and then this is the in my very first slide, I mentioned about AI tagline, right? Deploy AI use cases as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 4 step is here. So the first step is you can choose AI model by yourself based on your use cases, and then you can create AI application using our API coded in Python programming language, and then you can deploy into your laptop or maybe your embedded device or edge devices. And then if you are a developer, you can launch and monetize your AI application. And for the use case itself, what use case example that you can build using Elang AI? Actually, because currently Elang AI also still under development, so the Elang AI only support tasks in computer vision and general machine learning tasks. For example, like classification, clustering, and other machine learning tasks. Okay, for computer vision itself, you can create computer vision application for robotics, smart city, smart retail, smart agriculture, smart farming, and smart mining, or other domain or other field. Okay, and here I have some example. The first example is co-weight estimation. So basically here, how can we measure how can we estimate the co-weight just by using camera. If you see in this video, using camera, we can count the number of cow that appear in frame, and also we can estimate the weight of each cow. And then face mask detection, you can create face mask detection application that differentiate whether a person is wearing a mask or wearing a mask but incorrect, or maybe they do not wearing a mask. And it is very useful and suitable for current situation because we are in pandemic, right? So and the next example is using computer vision. You can perform OCR and also face recognition to automate the registration and payment process for public services. Here we are in Techbros try to develop it. So using the image and also the ID card, we can save the two data into database, and then for the payment, we will cross-check whether the name from face feature and also from the ID card is matched or not. If name is matched, so payment can be processed.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Okta, for the brief introduction to your product, Elang AI product from TechBros Game BH. And also thank you for showing us the example that we can use the product for. It is very inspiring for us, especially for the participants, to know the possibilities that they can do, or the possibilities of the ideas that they can develop with Elang AI. So for that, thank you once again, Mr. Okta, for your brief introduction into Elang AI.
Yeah, maybe that's all from me. So if you are interested using Elang AI for your use cases during this hackathon event, please let me know. Maybe we can set up discussion in another times. Okay, thank you very much for your attention all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okta. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer to our to the end of our today's event for today. So now we are going to do an official countdown so that the participants are able to develop their ideas, and also they can start their hacking time. And we are going to have the countdown now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and dear participants, that was the official countdown for your developing time. I wish you all good luck, and I wish you all also have fun to work on this amazing and fun project. And I hope that not only that you can learn a lot from this project, you can also have some fun, and also you can contribute to the sustainable development in Indonesia. We are getting close now to our event, and I could also see a question already from one person in the chat. I'd like to mention to all the participants today that we are going to have a Q&A session starting from 11:20 until 12, until the end of the event of today. And I'd like to also announce that this is the end of the live stream. And also I would like to say thank you very much for all the people who have come, who have joined us to today's event. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your inspiring insights, and thank you for your inspiring keynote speech. All right, but before we go to the our last session, where participants are allowed to ask questions regarding the competition, I'd like to do a small photo session with everyone here. So if it's possible for you guys, please turn on your camera. I'd like to see your faces. Yeah. And the operator will take a screenshot from the Zoom meeting that we're having now. So I'm gonna wait for 1 or 2 minutes to see your faces on my screen. I am still waiting for some faces that could appear on my screen. And I will count from 1 to 3. So, all right. 1, 2, 3, and smile. I'm gonna do one more picture. 1, 2, 3, and smile. And last picture. 1, 2, 3, and All right, thank you so much. Thank you for all of you who have turned on the camera, and thank you once again to all the guests and all the speakers who have joined us in today's event. And before we go to the Q&A session, I would also like to read some general rules for the hackathon time for the participants. So the first rule is that the participants are allowed to work on their project starting on the 13th of November 2021 at 12 o'clock, so soon, until the 3rd of December of 2021 at 23:59 o'clock. The participants are to submit their final pitch deck with a maximum of 15 slides for the pitching session of the December 2021, and their line of code, if any other relevant assets are available, by sharing their GitHub repository before the hackathon's deadline via the Codegreen AI Hackathon 2021 from the official website www.codegreen.events. And the participants' submissions will be graded based on the grading criteria. Now we will go to the judgment rules. The jury will, at its sole discretion, choose 5 winners of the competitions. Decisions of the judges are made by an accumulative grading system. In the event of an identical accumulative score, the decision is made by a simple majority of votes of the panel of judges, and the decisions of the judges are irrevocable. And for the participant who might have missed some information that I just mentioned earlier, don't worry, because there will be a guidebook for the finalists that will be available on the website of Codegreen. So you can see also other rules from the hackathon competition, and the other rules are also available on the terms and conditions of the competition. And it's also another rule that the participants have to use the AI